mean, you see that balance, right? All right, so let's talk about confusion. I'm going to tell you why I started to study Moe Norman. Okay, here's why. I'm always playing around with golf, and then, you know, I'm like, all right, I've been practicing a lot, I'm ready to go back to the golf course. But then every now and then I'll do something that I don't like, or I'll hit the ball, I'll go to the driving range, I don't hit it good, and I feel displeased, but I'm not sure why I'm confused. So I'm not used to the feeling of confusion because I'm a pretty smart guy. So what I did is I decided to say, I don't want to look information up about golf so much. I want to understand why it is that I'm so confused. Well, here, it's easy, people. The reason that I and you are confused about certain subject matter is because the subject matter is confusing. Now, whether it's intentionally confusing or it's just confusing, like, I think the tax code is intentionally confusing. I think the golf swing it's intentionally confusing. Here's what it is. It's not really intentionally confusing, but believe me, the powers that be love the fact that it is confusing. Because something that's confusing makes a fortune. Because you just keep buying stuff trying to figure out why you're confused. Well, let me tell you why you're confused. You're confused because, first of all, you don't have a fixed methodology by which you're working. And when I say methodology, I just mean a series of motions, a series of movements. Watch this. By which then, if you start doing something you don't like, that you can just go back to. That's all there is to it. Just go back to what works. And if you do what works 100 times in a row, it makes it harder to do it wrong 1,000 times in a row, 1,000,000 times in a row. So I personally hit the ball better when I give myself more space right around in here on the right side of my body on the inside. What does that mean? It basically means that I'm very close to my target. Because I want to get my hands real, like Moe Norman says. He says he's trying to hit the right side of his foot with his golf club. Watch this. I'm going to try that. Holy crap. Holy crap. That caused you to go up under it real good. Now let's try it again. Now, you know, another thing is he keeps his feet planted. See, there's so many things that you just don't need to be conscious of, but let's think about that. And then bring the right knee right in behind the left knee after the shot, during the shot. Anyway, the reason you're confused is because you're continuing to get information from this source, that source, this source, that source. And they're all different. The golf swing is different for everybody. Moe Norman knew that. And he didn't know it so much because of golf. He knew it because of life. He knew that life was different for everybody. But he knew that he would talk about winners and how winners thought. He knew that you had to do that. You had to think that way. There's no possibility that okay, what else did he say? He said winners only see the good things. Well, in golf, what's that? That's the fairway. Okay, he's not getting up there and looking at the lake, looking at all the bunkers. He's looking at where he's trying to hit that ball. And then he hits the ball where he's looking. You see what I mean? So, is there a series of things in a certain hierarchy that are one's more important than the other? Not really, because the message is all the same. It's just like in higher level thinking, just like in spirituality or religion or whatever. The truth is everywhere. Moe Norman realizes that all day he's got to hit a bunch of positions to hit that ball where he wants. That the golf swing itself is not a separated activity. It's an all-in-one motion. He says he's not hitting the golf ball. He's just swinging towards the target. So, you know, the ball is only a small part of the whole thing. But it's the repeatability factor that means that if your buddy calls and wants to go to the golf course, now that, okay, there's a difference in this release, which also has a little bit to do with a difference in the takeaway, and it has to do, it's like with the tempo. And if you watch young people, I think that these days they're teaching not to break the wrist, because I think they're holding it off a little and bringing that power back down the ball like this. But now on the golf course, that would have been off in the left woods. Okay, now instead of that, now I'm just gonna just let it break the way it wants to. Now see, that one started right, moving left. So it's pretty interesting. If you build a setup that allows you to go back and through in the most natural way, then you've got a golf swing. So mine looks weird. Push that left shoulder out. Tilt the shoulders so that there's a huge tilt, like that. Okay? And basically close off to the target and do what anyone would think was closing that club face right there. But that gives me all of this leverage as I come through right in there. And then it allows me, notice how I can finish the shot. I mean, notice how finishing isn't I'm not trying to finish that far. I'm not trying to take the club back far, and I'm not trying to finish far. Okay? But if you give yourself a natural position, you can finish easier. I mean, that club to me feels like it's pointing straight down my right leg. Okay? So it's giving myself that position that makes it possible for me to do that. Okay, and I could do, see what Moe Norman does is there's this feeling of resistance that he has as he's coming right up through there. And that resistance pulls the club back. I will install that resistance into this shot. Watch it. Now, my club face is closed looking there, but that ball went straight. Okay, but we're going to do that again. This is what he would call swinging through the golf course and not around it. I forgot about it until just the end of it. Try it again. See, he wasn't thinking about that. He was just doing it. When you watch videos of him, and his swing is a little different, and what I mean is it's either longer or shorter. He's either never gets his hands above his shoulders, or in some of the old ones, he's parallel. It has to do with how he feels and just where he is with things, but he's not doing any of it on purpose, really. But as you'll notice, something he always talks about is it basically boils down to accelerating through the shot, meaning that the finish is longer than the backswing. So if you finish the shot and it's longer than your backswing was before the shot, then the chances are highly likely that you are accelerating through the shot. You see what I'm saying? So it's basically getting you to accelerate without telling you to accelerate. Let's do it again. So what is it? It's just a longer follow through than it is a backswing, that's all. Okay, now this one, I'm gonna add that in with making sure my right hand is underneath that club the entire shot. Now it's trying to tear it up. Okay, let's get back to your swing balances you. Watch how hard I can swing on this ball. Notice how I don't get out of balance? I will if I'm not really trying to hit the ball, if I'm screwing around. But if I'm standing on the tee box and I'm going to hit the ball like this and I want to hit it a long way, I'm not going to screw around and I will stay in balance. Because, like Moe Norman said, your swing is balancing you because you've made it that way. I mean, watch this. Did I get out of balance at all? And I believe I let that ball have it, didn't I? You can tell in the way my feet might slide around or the way my legs are a little bit slippy. Let's do it again. Now that one, oh, okay. That was a little balance, letting my balance go that way. But that is not really finishing the shot. But the reason that you're confused is because you continue to seek information from so many sources. All sources have a different way of doing something. By the way, they're all fundamentally the same, just like religion. That's why you can't look at someone's golf swing and start giving them golf advice. Nope. It's their life you look at, not their golf swing. So it is whether their golf ball is going where they want it to compared to yours. That's it. Now watch this. Here's the deal. Here's my question. You want to go to the golf course with me and bet a little money? If I feel confident enough to get up to the first tee and you got your driver out and I've got my 5-iron out and then I do this, didn't I just steal your confidence? You're like, my God, look at that thing. It's rolling past mine in the fairway. Let's try it again. 5-iron to driver. That means I've got to lay into it. It's a long drive competition. We'll do a couple more of those. It's the long drive competition with the 5-iron. It's Moe Norman and Moe Norman up top, Mike Austin on the bottom. When I say Mike Austin on the bottom, I'm talking about ringing that bell. I don't care to keep my spine in a fixed position. The upper part of my spine I do, but the lower part I let ring like a bell, like this. It keeps me from really having back pain because I'm not trying to keep the lower part of my spine fixed. Watch it. That thing goes way back, doesn't it? It's because it doesn't matter. And it helps me hit the ball further, because watch. Now, as I swing the bell towards the target and I keep my right hand under the left, watch this. This is where the magic happens. Boy, I'll tell you what. When it gets repeatable is when it gets good. Moe Norman knew it. That's why Moe Norman preferred to hit golf balls than stand around and talk. He liked doing what I'm doing here. Talk while you're hitting balls. You know what he would think? Well, you're sitting there saying, hey man, how do you do this? How do you do that? He'd be thinking, dude, if you were at home hitting golf balls against a net on the side of your house, you could figure out how I do it. Because watch this. Most of the guys in those clinics watching him would never be able to do this right here. See what I'm saying? They'd never have the balls to get up to a shot and do it like that right there. Because there's a major road off to my right. One more shot, people, this is it. So it's long drive contest. You and your friend are at the golf course. He's got his driver. And you tell him, buddy, I hadn't played golf in a year, but watch this. I mean, you see that balance, right? Golf lesson over.